Oh, hello, darling. Do your feet suck? Well, you're not alone. The number of times I've twisted my ankle walking in just bare feet? Too many. So I wear heels because my feet might as well look pretty while I fall over. As long as it's not thin heels, because those make me wobbly. I even tore the ligament in my left foot running on flat sand. Now it has foot drop and it does that all the time. I trip over it a lot. It drags on the floor. The fronts of my left shoes are ruined unless they're good shoes. You can hear me coming in my slippers. That's what it sounds like. My feet are wide, my big toe goes up.
What the hell? Who sure does that?
Time for a confession. I'm actually disabled, so my feet aren't normal. But what feet are? I have HMPP and EDS, so my feet hurt a lot of the time, and sometimes they paralyze. Plot twist! But I love shoes, so I've been on a mission for the past year with American Duchess to create the perfect shoes. This is not an advertising claim. It's a personal preference. Don't sue me.
Watch to the end for the reveal.
Hello friends. Firstly, I've just realised I haven't even told you who American Duchess are. Let's start there. So, I'm incredibly excited to be starting to work with American Duchess because they very first started as a historical costume blog in 2009. The kind of blog where you can find articles about what is the appropriate fabric to wear if you are making a dress from 1876. And it has been a resource for historical costumers worldwide. However, in 2011, they took their passion for historical costuming to the next level and started their very own shoe company. One thing that is very important about historical dressing of really any era is that shoes are tricky. If you're thinking of vintage clothes from the last 100 years, yes, you may be able to find in a vintage shop. I mean, obviously if it's from the 90s, you're definitely going to find it in a vintage shop, and they write retro on it and act like, wow, no one alive has ever seen it. But generally things from the 40s, 50s, 60s, even 30s and 20s may be available. And we can also recreate things from designs of the time or from patterns that we've made, looking at historical photographs, drawings, paintings, etc. Shoes, gosh, that's a whole different ballgame. The art of making shoes. Fun fact, completely unrelated to anything, my mother used to make shoes. You didn't need that fact. I thought I just threw that in there. She's a shoemaker, along with like 20 other things that she's trained to do. Historical shoes aren't generally something you can make at home yourself, although it does depend on the era, because they require specialist tools, a lot of forethought, and a high level of skill. So it is incredible that American Duchess exist and can make shoes from the Edwardian, Georgian, Victorian era, along with styles that we think of as being vintage and my sort of stance, which is the 40s and 50s, and they also just do some really out there ones. And if you like historical costuming on social media, you have probably seen them collabing with some rather famous faces before, like Bernadette Banner, Carolina Zabruska, Dandy Wellington, and the Newport Historical Society, whose Edwardian shoe I love. In our first meeting, I mentioned to them how incredibly important it is to me that these shoes work for me, especially on days when my feet aren't at their best, when they're giving me paralysis couture, especially because I have the foot drop on one foot. So I'm thinking about something along the lines of like a strap, but maybe a removable strap. Not sure, but they were really receptive to that idea, so something along those lines we may be working with. But I really want to try one of their more open pumps styles, as well as trying their like done up shoes. From the meeting we talked about how a lot of older shoes are made with a kind of higher arch and the intention is to grip your foot, and I really want that to be possible. I really want it to work, to stay on my foot even when the strap isn't on. So I really got to try that out. So I am incredibly excited to be working with them to create my open shoe line. I'm going to take you on the process. Keep watching to find out what happens. Dun, dun, dun.
So, American Duchess have just sent 2 pairs of shoes so that I can have a look at the toe box. Because they make a variation of different shape of toe boxes, and we're going to see whether these 2 are the type that would fit my foot, or whether we're going to have to make a completely new custom one to fit my strange shape. And this pair is called their Peggy. I think it's a very cute little workwear shoe. Open, you're able to slip your foot into it, and that's something I'm really looking for. And not having to fiddle with different fastenings. They're very cute. So generally I think my feet are a size 4.5 and a size 5, which means it can be difficult to get shoes that fit properly, because if it's a size 4.5, then I have to squeeze this one in. If it's a size 5, this one falls out. So then we're going to need a strap to go over, because obviously you shouldn't really shove your foot into things. That's not a good idea. Next pair of shoes is the Parker. Obviously it does look to me like a slightly narrower shoe. Oh, hello. This is quite a comfy shoe. I even managed to get my more difficult foot into the shoe, and they're feeling pretty comfy. I'm going to walk around in these all day until Rupert comes home, because we can't wear shoes in the house with Rupert, because we've taught him not to wear shoes in the house, and now it's like a hard and fast rule in his mind. So if you do it, he's like, no shoes in the house. Greetings from the floor. So I've been walking around in these shoes for a little bit. One thing I will say is that although they are incredibly comfortable, I do find that because they rely on the tension of your own fingers to tie these bows and sort of keep the tautness here, if you do not have a lot of power in your own hands in order to then tie them quite tightly, there isn't enough tension really for me. They're not tight enough. So I think I'm going to have something here that builds its own tension, is really quite strong. An elastic, definitely, that isn't relying on just your ability to tie them. Also, I never thought I'd really like a spiderweb design, but look at that.
Okay, now we come to the fun part. We are going to put together a Pinterest board with some lovely old shoes from the 1940s, 50s, or just generally kind of shoes that I like the look of, along with colours, just design ideas to get the vibe. We're creating a Pinterest board of vibes. I will be honest, my style is kind of a blend of 40s and 50s. I'm not an era-specific purist. I tend to own things that either come from that era or sort of look like they should come from that era, and then I put them together in ways that just bring me joy. Because American Duchess are obviously they make vintage era reproduction shoes. They are very careful about sticking to the era. They're not going to make an Edwardian shoe in a colour that wasn't available at the time. Sorry, I'm just trying to log into Pinterest. It's really important to me to include shoes that work for people with different shapes of feet, because having HDS, my feet spread very wide when I stand on them, so I need the shoes that we end up making to either have a lot of space across the arch of my foot, or else just be a very wide shoe. But at the same time, I need them to actually stay on my feet. Vintage shoes are gorgeous and also designed to make your feet look smaller. See Bernadette Banner's video on that one. I do think creating something flat would be particularly fun. I like the pink here and the cream. I'm not necessarily a big fan of lacing, but I do think it's nice to have options. I love the really fine work that you can see here. So for me, I think having like a little flatty would be adorable, because as you can see at the bottom, if you can zoom in on the bottom, they're flexible, stretch, so if you've got feet like mine that spread, I think that's a really nice option. I think something like this one here on the bottom right is really lovely, with curves around, it's got a little bow. How many times can she say bow in one video? A lot of times is the answer. The nice thing about a vintage heel, and why I personally feel like a vintage heel is the most comfortable type of heel rather than a modern heel, is a variety of reasons, but partly because of the distance between the heel of the shoe and then the ball of your foot. So the heel, rather than being towards the back, is instead in the center of your heel, which makes your center of gravity quite nicely sit. See, for me, these shoes, these white ones here with this little bit of detailing, the bow, this is stunning. This is lovely. Is this Pinterest board mainly dresses? Yes, it is. Do I want these dresses? Yes, I do. Look at them. Look at what a lovely time they're having in those dresses. Hello. Firstly, welcome to the playroom, which is just where we're doing this shoe try on of the prototypes, very excited. Ignore the fact that it's slightly opened. That's just to check that we're actually in there. I've not actually seen them, so this very much is an opening, a first reaction, an unpackaging. I've lost all of my YouTube buzzwords because clearly I'm very jet lagged right now. Ooh, okay. I think this was the second design that we looked at, which has got this very pretty bit at the front, which for some reason makes me think of the cat shoes that they have in the Sims 4 Cats and Dogs. Anyone plays The Sims 4. So lengthwise does work for me, but I think the width here does actually feel, okay. I think perhaps if the shoes were a smidge longer, then they would be making my feet look more petite. Oh, you can really tell, can't you? Look, that's my big foot. Standing in them and walking around, they don't feel too small. When I'm standing on them, and they do spread out because head mobility is very much contained in this area, which has enough room to move. So that's good. They're very cute. They're very cute. Part 2. I'm very excited for these. They're very cute. They're just as cute as I hoped. Okay, again, I think my toe spread is going to be in the top part, which is really exciting. I already like them because they're white. I love how the lacing looks on the side. That's exactly how I was picturing it. So very happy with that. These are my thoughts on that. I've left the top here pretty loose. And it definitely fits on my foot, just kind of walking. And they feel more comfortable walking on them. So they felt when I put my foot in, a little bit like, oh, my toes slightly jab in. But then when you stand up and everything adjusts, they feel good. They feel nice. Again, it grips onto your foot quite nicely, even without the ankle wrap and ankle support there. But definitely something that would be necessary if you have less tension in your foot. So when I have floppy feet, very much a necessity to have a strap across the foot. So as long as it can come off or there's the option to buy it without the strap, I think would be good, because obviously not everybody needs to have the strap, and it does work without. They fit really nicely. Oh, I'm very pleased about this. Hello. Excuse my phone perched on a windowsill and any toddler noises that you can hear. So, updates. We are going to be naming the collection Jessica Goes to the Closet and American Duchess, with an ampersand, of course. The shoes are called the Jessie and the Claude. Yeah, guess which one's the Jessie? I know, it was hard to guess, wasn't it? It was very hard to guess. So I have been wearing them for the past week, the little prototypes. And this here is the Jessie. I actually wore it to my 1 million subscriber party in London. So it did a whole day, standing on the stairs and I'm going to fall off. So it did a whole day in London. Really great, wonderful. Normally my feet would get pretty numb going around all that, but it didn't, they did good. It was really good. I think a lot of that is to do with the high arch area here and the fact that my foot wasn't squished out. I'm just guessing. I have also been wearing with and without the ankle strap, and genuinely shocked at the fact they stay on my feet. I know, normal people don't get it. But those of you who know, you know what it means to have shoes that just slip off your floppy feet. And then we come to the Claudes. Also, hi, this is my living room. I don't often film in my living room. So as you can see on these prototypes, the buckles are for some reason in the middle. This is not the way that they are going to eventually look. The buckles will be on the sides of the foot, as buckles normally are. Other than that, I can say they have been doing well. One thing that I really like, no wear and tear. Especially with the white Jessies, you would expect there'd be some dirt, but not. The black Claudes, normally my shoes do have a bit of a scuff from my floppy foot, but not. The one thing that I think we're changing about these is that the toe box, I think, is a little low. That could do with being a bit higher. I'm so excited to see them in colours. And so we come to the main attraction, the actual, let's talk about the shoes now. The Jessie shoe comes in black, soft ivory, brown, pink suede and wine suede. Now, it was a mission to whittle down my favourite colours, but we got there. Maybe if you all love it enough, then, you know, we sell enough of them. I might convince people to do some more colours. They make my feet look amazing. Look at the curve of my ankle. The details on the shoe are so gorgeous. The lattice work, my goodness, a 1940s dream. I swear, the work and love that goes into these shoes, it would be impossible to buy them nowadays unless you're going high fashion, made by a little French lady above a boutique, like that one lady that Dior buys all their lace from. Along with the high fashion look comes the high fashion quality. These shoes have been meticulously designed with comfort in mind. The bow hides elastics which ensures easy slipping on and off. And the 3-inch Spanish heel sits under the middle of the ball of foot rather than the end to reduce strain. I mean, who said beauty had to be pain? One of my favourite features are the removable and size-adjustable ankle strap. Not only do they give the shoe a new look, they provide added security, and the buckle is a quick release buckle for those of us with accessibility needs now. I can't tell you what a relief having a strap is, for one thing, on days when my floppy feet need a strap to hold the shoe on my body, but also having a buckle that is easy for me to just do up and take off. Most often I have to get other people to do my shoe buckle. So this, look at that, I can do it all by myself. Inclusivity was of course a large factor in the design process, so of course we had to release the range in both standard and wide fit, and a large range of sizes, from US 5, UK 3 to US 13, which is UK 11. For those of you who prefer no heel, fear not, the clogs are here. Yes, obviously I named them after my wife. But these beautiful 1950s flatties style are the perfect everyday shoe for in or out of the office. You don't have to work in an office. Obviously I don't work in an office. Now I might be biased on this one, but doesn't the bow just tie it completely together so perfectly? Doesn't any bow make anything better? The Claude also features the adjustable straps, and they are available in the same size range as the Jessies, both in the regular and the wide fit, so everybody wins. From petticoats to jeans, the Claudes have got you covered. They're available in black, soft ivory, navy, dusty blue and cordovan. That's brown, the brown one. The Claudes are a great choice for everyone. Obviously I'd say that, but I think they're wonderful. Both styles are available to buy from AmericanDuchess.com and AmericanDuchess.eu or .co.uk, depending on where you are. So what are you waiting for? See you there. I'm obviously going to put the links down in the description. And don't forget that pre-order ends on the 5th of May at midnight. You'll be getting 15% off every pair. So what are you waiting for? See you there.